Them asked me in Lunyankore how I could end up marrying a traitor of a Muganda.
Barbra Kyagulanyi has recounted a night of terror after armed men, some in uniform, others not, stormed her home under the cover of darkness. Speaking from her hospital bed, Kyagulanyi says she received a distress call from their security guard shortly after 10 p.m., alerting her that armed men had quietly entered the compound and were advancing toward the main house.
He told me, these men have broken again, but this time they are more in number and they are not in the same uniform as that group that normally comes. So he said there are many, just prepare.
She says she alerted neighbors and relatives and locked some of the rooms in the house as armed men incessantly asked her to open the front doors.
Every window that you see on that house had like 7 people peeping through it. They said, Igura. And I said, Tinkuza kuigura. Literally meaning open. And I said, I'm not going to open. Then I sat on the stairs. And they broke the door, broke the windows. A swarm of men, big muscles, height so high, they looked the same. When I looked down, they had almost the same shoe size. That group is a group that is selected. You can see that they selected them according to height, to weight, to size, to color. And they belong from one tribe. They all swam in. At that moment, I looked down on the floor. Then I could see footsteps going to different directions of the house. Some going to the corridors, some going to the lounge, and some bypassed me on the stairs, and went upstairs. Now, in that moment, one of them came and told me, come and sit in the chair.
Barbra Kyagulanyi, popularly known as Barbie, said the men assaulted her and demanded passwords to electronic gadgets they had seized as others ransacked the premises.
He held the shirt of the nightie from the back. He was using one arm. So he held it, then he brought the phone in front of me and said, remove the password. I said, I have told you I will not remove the password. The one that he came with held me in the neck here and lifted me off my feet in the neck like this. So when he lifted me, in self-defense, I kicked him because he was in front of me. So I kicked him in the groin and then he walked away. This one pulled me, the buttons of my shirt broke, and he stayed with my shirt in his hands. Now, I just walked away from them and went and stood in one corner. But remember, this is a house full of men. Some looked away. Some were unbothered. One of them said in Luganda, Nedda nedda mama muddize sati ayambali. They took AirPods, chargers, power banks, hoofers, radios, anything electrical, laptops, everything. And then another one asked me and says, Okashwerwa mwinazi w'omuganda abanyankore okota kubareba. You got married to I don't know what they call a mwinazi. What do they call a mwinazi in English? A mwinazi is like a traitor. It's like the worst person that there can be in the world. He said, you married that traitor of a Muganda. Were you not seeing the Banyankori?
But what could have triggered the forceful entry?
Because his phone has been home. I switched it on yesterday. So I think they got a signal of his phone and then they were sure he was home. Also, they came to terrorize me, to put me in this situation so that wherever my husband is, he can come out. I want to encourage him to stay wherever he is. I am okay. I can take care of myself.
She says the attackers repeatedly questioned her about the whereabouts of her husband, National Unity Platform leader Robert Kyagulanyi, while verbally abusing her.
They said, before we beat that round head of yours, where is your husband? I said, you can do whatever you like. I don't know where he is. That same man held me by my hair, lifted me up. We have poles in the sitting room, and hit my head on the pole. and slit my mouth. So when he hit me, he pulled me down and sat me down. Then he pushed my head and I went down and they sat on me. I could feel 4 bodies seated on me. Then he said, "Will you give me the password?"
In the chaos, Kyagulanyi says she collapsed and later regained consciousness nearly 45 minutes later, finding herself dumped at the staircase of her home.
I was sleeping in a pool of vomit on the veranda outside, and they were gone. So it is the scary who drove me out and brought me here. In that whole mix, we still had the police, which has kept me under house arrest for 8 days.
She links the incident to recent statements by the Chief of Defense Forces, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who posted on social media giving her husband 48 hours to surrender to security.
They spoke Runyankole. They asked me where Kabobi was. They talked about a brother of mine who was running for Kampala Central MP seat, who is Rubongoya and who is actually a brother in Christ, his family, but we are not blood related. They asked me where Bobby was, and you know who has been looking for him, who gave him a 48-hour ultimatum just recently, and who told him to come out of the latrine because nobody was looking for him. And I am sure he actually is looking for him actively.
At the hospital, Kyagulanyi was accompanied by NUP Secretary General David Rubongoya, who said the party will pursue legal redress over the incident.
We are looking at different actions, including legal actions and all that, but people need to know that those things in the context of Uganda do not really carry so much weight.
Police have previously denied pursuing Kyagulanyi or his family, though a heavy security presence remains at his residence. In his victory speech, President Yoweri Museveni called Kyagulanyi a traitor. The incident comes amid heightened political tension, with NUP reporting that several of its leaders are either detained or unaccounted for, including Deputy Presidents Lina Zedriga and Jacqueline Joly Tukamushaba, while Muwanga Chivumbi remains in custody on terrorism-related charges. Walter Mwesije, NTV.
I'm taking her to the hospital. Then